When you're ready.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi.
Hi. Daniel, what a time to play Southampton. How intimidating do you think your side is at the moment? How much confidence is there?
Well, first of all, we know that we are in a good shape, good moment of the season because, 6 games unbeaten, 4 clean sheets in a row, pretty impressive performances and obviously really good result in the last game and many points in the last games. We are happy with the moment, but we're also not over the moon. So we know that in this league you always have to be aware that the momentum can change and can switch pretty quick, and for that you always have to be on it. So there's no time to be overconfident. And once we speak about the moment to play about against Southampton, I couldn't think about a worse moment to play against them, because they are there with 4 losses in a row. Obviously, it's tricky at times when you have a busy schedule and you play 3 games within 6 or 7 days to change things. But one thing is for sure, for such a big club with so high ambitions and also many quality players, if you have such a period then and you have a normal week and time on the training pitch, you have a look under each and every stone and speak about each and every detail that has to be improved. And I'm pretty aware that they would have done exactly this. And then a home game against Leeds is a big opportunity, because to play against us is more or less always a game of the season for our opponent. But then once we are in red hot form like this, then you know, okay, with one game you have the chance to win the momentum back and change your whole mood anyhow. And we are pretty much aware that Southampton will be highly motivated to do exactly this, to use this home game against an opponent with a big reputation like we are, in order to win the momentum back, because they had a really good start into the season. It's a really good side, and then it's a championship. So sometimes you have periods when it's tricky, but I'm 100% sure that their class will shine at one moment, and they will be highly motivated to find their way back in terms of results, because I think performance-wise they were not far away, and we travel there in a pretty respectful mood. But sometimes you also can't choose once you play an opponent, and for that, we also accept this challenge, and we try to be ready and try to win points even there on the road. Yes.
How ready is Patrick Bamford now? Please.
Well, obviously not in his perfect rhythm, because he hasn't played a game since the second last or the last preseason game. So obviously not there with 100%, but 1 week further ahead. In team training, I think this week also was massively beneficial for him, and he's definitely also a topic for the squad on Saturday. And I think it's much improved. So since 2 weeks back in training, I think he's definitely a topic to travel with us. Yes.
I was really interested to hear what Rob Bryce had to say, the head of performance and medicine, this week, and he said, look, it is about the body, but it's also about the mind as well. So mentally, is he in a good place now as well?
Yes, so there is this old rule that normally a player who is back in training needs as long on the training pitch to be ready with full confidence and full rhythm, to be ready to play the same time like he was out. So hopefully Patrick is an experienced player, and for offensive players sometimes it's even a bit quicker. So hopefully he doesn't need 8 weeks to be back in the mix. But sometimes also like an injured player also like plays in with a bit more euphorism because he's back and is highly motivated to be involved on the pitch, and I can see this also in training. So Patrick is in a good mood, and he knows that he's a really good player on this level. So the last time he played on championship level, he got this club with more than 20 goals promoted. So it's definitely good to have a player of his experience and also his quality and his ability back in the mix. Yes.
What do you do with a side that didn't concede another goal? They won the game, but you've got Joe Rodon available now, suspension. How big a decision is that for you?
Yes, it's good, and we need this competition, and also like a few players got a little bit of a rest because it was the third game within 6 days in the last game, but also the lads who came in also used that chance in order to impress, and we need this. We need competition, and it's always about obviously to use your chances and the quality of the performances. But it's also good that we can react on different tactical necessities, because for example, all my center backs are a bit different in a way. The same on the fullback positions. The same with our offensive players. So I much prefer the situation right now in comparison to what happened a few weeks ago. And yeah, sometimes it's not that the easiest part, that you have to disappoint sometimes the player. But right now we're also heading into a busy week with 3 games within 7 days, and for that we need all our players in the squad. And I'm happy that we have many of them available.
Yeah, on a similar sort of subject, finally for me, Daniel, Mateo Joseph has been out of the squad. What have you? How pleased are you with his progress? Is he getting there? Is he becoming very much part of your plans?
Yes, absolutely. So I was pretty impressed and pretty happy with him pre-season. He had great games. Also the behind closed door pre-season friendly against Barnsley was excellent, but also all the other friendlies. And sadly he had this long-term injury. And for a young player who is just on the way into the first team football, and it's never easy if you miss then such a big part, and you are out more or less for 2 months, and you need then a bit longer in order to be back in shape. Obviously for him it's also not that easy, because you can't give just a bit game time away in order to bring him back in his confidence level and also in his rhythm. But on the training pitch he looks really sharp. We're also thinking perhaps giving him some minutes, perhaps also whenever that's possible in the under 21, to give him a bit the feeling for the positioning and also the feeling for a normal game. But once he's capable to impress in training, he has also all chances to be selected for the traveling squad, like he was, for example, also in the last game. And obviously we had also a few injury concerns in the last game with Willy Gnonto, and also Patrick was not 100% available. So for that we were happy that Mateo was available, and I'm quite sure that on the mid and the long term future of this club he will play a pretty important role, and I'm pleased with the development.
What's the latest with your players who are coming back from injuries, and have you got any new knocks to deal with?
No, everything's okay so far. Obviously, we spoke about that that Willy will be out till the next international break. Also, with Junior Firpo, he's also not back in team training, so it will also definitely last till the international break. And yes, Willy Gnonto obviously had this surgery quite successfully. He's already on his way to do a lot of rehab work. That's more or less it. Did I forget some? Yeah, Jet Spence anyhow, so he needs also a bit time. He won't be involved before the international break. So that's more or less it, and no new injuries. That's definitely good news.
For a long time here, Patrick Bamford was the main man at number 9, and sometimes he was the only man at number 9. Now you have options here. Do you think that will help Patrick in any way, to have less external expectation on him, perhaps?
Well, first of all, we're not just here to help Patrick. It's more like the other way around. Patrick is here to help us, and we are all unbelievably happy that he's back, because he's a quality player. He's an experienced player, and it's always a good feeling as a player. Also, like when you are in the dressing room and you head into games and you watch to the left, and then you see Patrick Bamford next to you. So big name in English football. So he didn't win the cap for England in the lottery anyhow. So he's a quality player. Has proved this for this club. With more than 20 goals, he got this club promoted, and then sadly he had a difficult spell due to injuries, and especially for offensive player, it's never easy when you're playing at times, but without being in the rhythm, because you need confidence. I was pretty impressed with him during preseason. I think he was excellent in preseason, scored goals, was sharp in his movement. Obviously then sadly this injury happened, but we are right now all happy that he's back in team training. Obviously he will need also a while till he's there back at his best, but to have him as an option with his quality to score, quality to link the play, with his experience, and also a top class teammate, it's definitely good to have him back, and I think he will be absolutely beneficial for us as a group, and also will play a quite important part. And yes, Patrick is confident and also experienced enough. He doesn't need our help. He's a proven goal scorer on this level, especially also on this level. And for that, happy to have him back.
When you looked back at last weekend's performance, I mean, you called it the most complete or most complex performance to date. Did you find things that you could have done better, and maybe could you give us some insight on that?
Well, we have allowed them to have one chance in the 95th minute, so I would have preferred that we didn't give this chance away. There was also one incident after the 2-0 when they had also another good crossing situation. Were also close to finish the situation. So offense, obviously, so we were really, really good defensive wise, but it's always better to give 9 chances away in comparison to 2, so we can do better. Also in terms of possession, I think we had everything under control, was pretty pleased with our positioning, with our decision making on the ball, also with a good balance between keeping the ball and also then to force the transition moments in order to be there with quick counterattacks. Yeah, sometimes the balance could have been even a bit better, and also the second class pass could have been a bit better. Efficiency in the first half, I think we missed a few too many chances in the beginning. So there are always areas where we can improve, but I also can't and don't want to lie anyhow, and don't want to pretend anyhow. It was a pretty good performance, and we take this confidence out of this. But we started null again at the weekend, and the 3 points won't help us in 2 days when we face Southampton. So we have to be on it again, and to deliver at least the same quality of performance in order to give us a chance also to win points in a difficult away game.
Hi Daniel. Saturday almost bordered on a carnival atmosphere. It was that good. But how does that kind of performance affect training in the subsequent days? How has it been this week? Jorginho in particular, have you seen a lifting in the mood?
Well, a win is always good for the mood, also good for the confidence, and you can come back and also like to analyze the game and to go into the training week with a smile. It's always a bit easier than after a difficult result, but if I'm honest, it just influences more or less the first day, because then you're on it again and you work on your different topics that are important for the next game, and you want to have hard work and competition on the pitch, and each and every player is not thinking more about what happens 2 or 3 days ago. It's more like, no, I want to win the next training game. I want to be the best in the shooting. I want to be the best in the small-sided game. I want to do this tactical exercise in the best possible execution, and if someone is not focused and not concentrated, we as a coaching staff also make sure that they are on it and they're not thinking about what happens 3 or 4 days ago, because this doesn't help you anymore. So obviously a win is always good for the mood and the confidence. I much prefer to head into a week with a good result and a good spell like we had at the moment, but we also have to make sure that we are on it again and that we are not loving ourselves and enjoying ourselves too much anyhow. Hard work was also during this week the main topic, and will also be the topic till we face Southampton in 2 days, and then we want to be ready again.
How much are you looking forward to come up against Russell Martin this weekend? Obviously your paths crossed at Norwich. Things ended quite amicably according to Russell, so how much are you looking forward to come up against him?
Not looking too much forward, because he's a really good coach and has a great future also in the game, and he has done excellent also in his former clubs. And I know when you face him on the other side, you always play against a strong opponent and a well-structured team, a well-coached team. So for that, you're more concentrated like on the task, because you know it will be complicated to play against the side. But on a personal level, it's always great, because I worked with him at Norwich, and he was a great player, also great human being, so great character, big character, even although we just worked together for a few months, but you always can sense this. He was more like in his last days of his playing career, you could sense that he has all that is necessary in order to be a top class coach one day, and this is what he's showing at the moment, and even in this days I was 100% sure that he would work then one day on a top level, and pretty light for them that he is such an impressive found such an impressive way into coach in a really, really good way. And on a personal level, so as a human being, I'm looking forward to see him, because he's a great character and a great guy. But we are also quite aware that we're facing a well-coached team, and for that we are also respectful.
Helder Costa's not somebody who's spoken out for a little while. What's the situation with Helder? Will there be some sort of resolution to that situation?
No, so nothing has changed. We made it clear in the beginning. Helder's wish was also to have a move, and we have also decided that he's not in our plans, and for that everything's professional, everything is clear between all parties, and the club is working behind the scenes on a good solution, but he's not in our plans because we want also a group where everyone is really fully focused and fully committed. And after our initial set, everything was in a professional and honest way, and no complaints about this. So I think Helder had also a great career here in English football, and also really great guy. It's always good to see him, but he won't be involved.
Even though you think that Southampton will bounce back, or certainly hope to from recent results, do you think that there may be a bit of tension down there in the crowd that your team can play on?
First of all, for me, it's not the question if they bounce back. It's more like the question when, and we want to make sure that it's not at this weekend, because they will be highly motivated to use this chance, and I'm also 1% sure that the crowd will be there, especially against Leeds United. They will back them, especially in the beginning of the game, and give everything, because everyone there is also highly motivated to change the momentum of the results anyhow. So, but I'm also not too interested in order to play psychological games or to use their crowd. What I would want to use is more or less our supporters. We have the best supporters in our country, and I'm not thinking too much about the opponent supporters, what they will do and how they will act. It's more or less like, no, we need to get our supporters behind ourselves. I'm also looking forward to have the traveling support again, and also like once we create in our stadium an atmosphere that we had a few days ago, it's so helpful and so beneficial also for our ambitions. And we had also great away games. When I think about Millwall, for example, where we had more like our away traveling supporters, like a wall behind us. And this is also what we need in difficult ground. So it's more like, we want to make our supporters happy. We need their backing, and I'm more concentrated on this topic.
You must have known when you came here that for the past couple of years it hasn't been great defensively here at all. The record has been poor. What did you prioritise when you came in, when it came to getting yourself a strong defence and a strong defensive structure?
Well, football is always a complex game, and you know that my ambition is always like to attack, to be good in possession, to create many chances, to score many goals. It's not just my reputation; it's really my DNA. Because I think you should play the game exactly in this manner. We are there to entertain our supporters, and the game should be played in this way. But in order to do this, you need to focus and to base always on a solid defending. And this was always also my thought. I think even in Norwich in my first year, I think we still are holding the record for most clean sheets in the row in the whole history of Norwich City. And although my reputation was always like, he's an attacking coach and concentrate on possession, one of my main topics was also like to stabilize the defense. And there are always different ways. I always spoke also about to improve our possession, because once you're in possession, the good thing is you can't concede anyhow, and you also give a bit of relief for the defensive players. And the better you are in possession, then it's more like the more energy you have also when it comes to defending, in order to defend your own goal. Because if you just play with pulse 200 and just against the ball, there's also the moment when you're not spot on. I think to be good in possession, also to have a good structure in possession, to be there in a good positioning already once you lose the ball, to control the opponent's counters. This was one of my main focuses, but then you also obviously talk about and work on defending set pieces. You work on how you want to defend crosses, how you want to defend if the opponent attacks through the middle of the park. So it's a pretty complex work, but one of the key areas was definitely also like to improve our possession, but also the structure in possession, in order to be not open once we lose the ball. And it's a pretty complex and tactical topic, but yes, we're on the good path, but we have to make sure that each and every day we are really on it, and we don't go 2 or 3%, give 2 or 3% less, because this 2 or 3% less could mean the world in football. And pretty pleased at the moment, but it's also important. Come on, let's keep going exactly like this.
I just wanted to ask you lastly about Gruev, who we haven't seen a huge amount of yet. He's clearly a very good player, having been in the Bundesliga, but will he need a bit of adaptation time, do you think, for the Championship? At the totally different leagues, even though it is a lower level.
I think for each and every player, it's something different when you come to the motherland of football, because our approach here, our physicality in this league is also second to none. So the speed, the pace of the game, also the physicality, anyhow. So is always new for players who come from Germany, from France, from Spain, anyhow. So for that, it's always normal that you need also a bit of time in terms of language. So he's quite fluent in English. It's quite impressive, but till you understand really each and every football phrase and in tactical terms, it always lasts a while. And he's a top player. I'm pretty pleased with him. He had many games on Bundesliga level. He is a regular starter for the Bulgaria national team, and he's a top player. And no coincidence that he was also involved, at least in the final minutes in the last game, but also on his positions. Yes, Ethan Ampadu was there with impressive performances. Archie Gray, also Glenn Kamara right now with impressive performances. It's not like, okay, it's an emergency case, and we are urged to throw him too early into the mix. So I much prefer this situation that step by step he can be integrated. But I know already right now whenever I need him, and he's always ready to go, and he's a top class guy, humble guy. Pretty grateful also that he works for such a great club, although he has already a pretty impressive CV for such a young guy. So with Ilya, I'm more than happy at the moment.
Cheers.
Good. Thank you.